This presentation is the second on culture in India and the United States. This module will cover general etiquette, tipping, dining, slang and hand gestures, holidays, education, government, and appearance across India and the United States. Prior to proceeding, please take a moment to watch the following video on Indian etiquette and read the listed article on American etiquette. Links are provided in the file that is downloadable on our website. General etiquette in India is that peers shake hands to greet one another. A traditional Indian greeting or gesture of respect is also made by bringing the palms together before the chest and bowing. This is called namaskar. It's also common to see younger people touching the feet of the elderly to seek their blessing. Public physical contact between opposite sexes is far less acceptable in India than in other parts of the world. Men and women do not usually hug when they meet and greet. They shake hands in urban areas and greet with namaskar. Before entering an Indian family home, one should take off your shoes or sandals and leave them outside. Appreciating and praising the food is considered proper etiquette since it's a compliment to the lady of the house. If you're hosting a social event in India for mainly Indian people, it would be good etiquette to contact every person by phone personally, even if you've already sent a printed invitation. Indian people do not normally RSVP to such invitations. One should stand up when an elderly or a guest enters the room and should not sit down until you've offered them a seat. You should offer a glass of water and preferably a cup of tea to anyone who steps into your home or office. Part of the traditional Indian etiquette and culture is to share food. Don't make too much noise and don't talk with food in your mouth. There are also some things one should not do according to general Indian etiquette. Never point your feet at another person, as feet are considered unclean. Don't touch a religious object with your feet or left hand. Spitting is unacceptable in any public place, but then also majority of people do. Drinking alcohol is culturally not accepted in most parts of India. Many Indian families do not keep alcohol in their homes. Let's move on to consider the general etiquette do's and don'ts in the United States. Within the United States, offer a brief but firm handshake to anyone you meet for the first time, whether they are a man or a woman. Some Americans do not shake hands at social events. Instead, they may greet casually with a hello or how are you. Stand when you greet people or when they walk into the room. Be ready to answer, what do you do? Or where do you work? Call if you will be more than 5 minutes late to a meetup. On public transportation, signs indicate which seats are for disabled passengers. Give up these seats for disabled, pregnant women, or elderly passengers. Keep your shoes on when you visit someone else's home, unless your host has removed them. Express a preference when you are asked. Americans like to arrive at decisions by consensus. Take actions. Americans admire action and decisiveness and not the failure to act. Take a seat when invited, and when offered a seat, be sure to indicate where they can sit. U.S. citizens bathe daily and use deodorant. Bodily smells are contained, so bathe and change clothes daily if possible. After you enter an elevator, face the front and push the button for your floor. If it's too crowded to reach the buttons, say "third floor, please," or something similar. There are also some things that are not proper to do according to U.S. general etiquette. Don't take offense if an American is sitting in a way that is considered disrespectful in your culture. For instance, if the soles of the feet are turned toward someone. Americans like to treat everyone as equals. Don't behave in a servile way to people more powerful, wealthy, or rudely to people less fortunate than yourself. Many public places and private homes do not allow smoking. Anti-smoking laws can lead to fines if smoking in public. Spitting is unacceptable in any public setting. Don't smack your lips, making other loud eating noises, or belch loudly after eating. Don't carry on loud conversation in a language other than English or Spanish. Avoid religion, politics, appearance, and personal information such as health or relationship issues in conversations, especially in business environments. In a queue, don't cut in, but go to the end of the line. Let's move on to consider general dining etiquette. Within an Indian home, it is not good manners to say thank you at the end of the meal. It is good etiquette to show appreciation and invite the host to dinner in the future. When invited to an Indian family home for dinner, it is considered good Indian etiquette to give a gift. Hospitality is key value in India, and the guest is always considered first. The host normally goes out of his or her way to accommodate the requirements of the guest. Try to remember that Indian people are very sensitive to refusals of their hospitality. For example, if you visit someone's home but refuse to eat the food offered or refuse to take tea or coffee, they might feel offended. In general, Hindus, which is the majority of the Indian population, do not eat beef. In contrast with Americans, Indians do not drink black coffee. Also, serving sizes of normal meals and drinks are way smaller in India than in the United States. Lots of street vendors sell breakfast items, teas, coffee, and snacks. The majority of the working class eats at home for their cooked meals, both lunch and dinner. Indians usually eat dinner rather late, typically after 8 p.m. The food in India is usually very hot and spicy. Breakfast and meal items, such as cuisine, vary widely because of the regional differences and diversity across India. It also depends on vegetarian and non-vegetarian preferences. Popular breakfast items are omelets, egg bhurji, idli, dosa, uttapam, which is in South India, poha, which is in Central India. Most of the Indians take tea or coffee, served with milk and sugar, in the morning as well as in the afternoon. There is a clear distinction when it comes to family restaurants, which do not serve alcohol, and restaurants and bars. It's a big country in India with a lot of different regional cuisines. Ask for the bill, not for the check, when eating out in India. 2 bills are normal, one for alcohol and one for the food.
Let's move on to consider dining etiquette in the United States. We'll begin by taking a moment to watch this brief video on U.S. business lunches and dinners. Take a moment and pause the video here to watch. You can find the link to this video through the downloadable file version of this presentation that you can access on our website.
In U.S. business lunches and dinners, Americans typically conduct business over the meal. Socializing starts off the meal to build rapport, but conversation will revolve around business. The guest of honor is often toasted and should reciprocate by giving a toast of thanks to the host. Your napkin should be placed on your lap shortly after you are seated during such a meal. Do not rest your elbows on the table at a meal at a restaurant. Hands should be placed on your lap. The fork is held in the left hand with the tines facing down, and the knife is held in the right hand when cutting food. Then the fork is moved to the right to put the food in your mouth, or use the continental method of holding the fork and the knife. Don't begin eating until everyone is served and your host has begun eating. When going to dinner or lunch, the person who invites pays. This is whether it is a man or a woman. Americans tend to eat more quickly than people from other countries. When finished eating, lay the knife and fork parallel across the right side of your plate. This indicates that you have completed your meal. It is better to say no to an invitation than to say yes and not show up to a meal in the United States. Arrive within 5 to 15 minutes after the time of the invitation for a large gathering. Do not arrive before the time you were invited. Leave close to the ending time stated on the invitation or after the coffee has been served. Feel free to refuse specific food or drinks without offering an explanation. This is not offensive within the U.S. Dinner at an American home may be fairly informal, even a backyard barbecue. Family style, serving means platters of food are passed to the right around the table and you serve yourself using your own serving utensils. There is no double dipping in U.S. meals. Do not dip a partially eaten piece of food, such as a carrot stick or chip, into a shared bowl of food. For a formal meal, there may be different pieces of silverware for each course. They are used in the order they are laid, from the outside to the inside towards the plate. Breakfast is typically rushed in the United States. People eat things such as cereals, yogurts, toasted bread, which is also popular. More substantial breakfasts might include pancakes, eggs, potatoes, and pork sausage or bacon. Lunch is a fairly light meal for people who work and take only half an hour or less to eat. A sandwich or some form of fast food is common. Dinner is the main meal of the day, eaten around 6 p.m. onward. Some eat after 9 p.m., but this would be considered very late. American restaurants offer larger portions of food in comparison to European restaurants. Most take home the food not eaten in what is called a doggy bag or container to consume the food for another meal. 21 is the legal age to consume alcoholic drinks in restaurants and bars in the United States. Raise your hand or index finger and make eye contact to signal a server in a restaurant in the United States. Tips in restaurants run around 10% in India. You do not generally give tips to barbers, hairstylists, or taxi drivers in India. In the United States, there is a different type of protocol. Different types of restaurants have different tipping protocol. 15% is common in most restaurants, 20% in better restaurants, and if there is no service charge that has been added to the bill. If there is no server, there is usually no tip. But if there's a jar for tips, some people put in their spare change. In some casual restaurants, the cashier is paid rather than the waitstaff. Leave the tip on the table or add it to the credit card charge. Let's move on to consider appearance across these two cultures. Business dress in India for women. Your attire will often signal your status. Casual dress will make it more difficult for you to elicit respect. Wear loose, cool clothing that covers up as much as possible. Exposed flesh suggests that you are too poor to dress properly in India, or that you're shameless about flaunting your body. Tight clothes are also considered shameless in Indian etiquette and culture. The more you can disguise your shape, the better in this culture. Here are some images of business dress in India for women. For women, a salwar suit is also acceptable for business dress. Now let's discuss business dress in India for men. Normal business dress for men is a suit and tie. Since India has a warm climate, often just a full-sleeved shirt with a tie is also acceptable. It is also important to select neutral colors, which are subdued and not very bright. In most companies, particularly in the IT sector, the dress code is much more casual. It is not unusual to find people wearing t-shirts and jeans with sneakers. Here is an example of the business dress in India for men. Now let's move on to consider the business dress in the United States. The appropriate business dress varies widely across the United States. It depends on the region of the country, whether it's East Coast, which may be more formal, the day, such as casual Fridays, the company, the person's position, and the industry. Casual Fridays are more casual clothing days, which are common in many companies, allowing employees to dress casually on Fridays. High technology companies commonly allow casual clothes every day of the work week. The financial world, however, wears suits, and faculty do not usually wear suits in academic settings. Men often wear suits, while women wear skirts or pantsuits or dresses. Men's socks should match their suit, but colorful patterned socks are also popular for men. No leg should show between pant hems and the shoes. Women do not overdress for daytime or wear flashy or noisy jewelry in business settings. Low-cut blouses, short skirts, and very tight clothing are not appropriate for office attire. Sleeveless dresses are acceptable, though. American women frequently wear makeup to the office. Here are some images of business dress in the United States for both men and women. This is a more professional appearance, but in some businesses, as we mentioned, more casual attire is acceptable. Depending on the business environment you may be entering, you should try and find out if they would dress professionally or casually. Let's move on to consider slang and hand gestures across these two cultures. Slang in India. Indians use slang, however, they are mainly in regional languages. In India, people nod and shake their head a lot to say yes or no. There is a wide array of slang and hand gestures used in the United States. We will go through a variety of different terms used, but you will probably encounter more in your experiences within the United States. The term get your act together means get organized or start behaving more responsibly. Be all over something means you show too much interest, especially romantically. Awesome is used to express approval or admiration. Take the bait means that you've been attracted or deceived by someone's trick. Beat the rap means that you've escaped prosecution or blame. Beats me means I don't know. Go belly up means to fail. Big time means to a great or excessive degree. Get booted means to be forcibly ejected from a place or have your car wheel clamped by a traffic police. Buy the farm means to die, and take the cake is to be the most extreme example of something. To do someone's dirty work means that you are doing something unpleasant for someone else. Dish the dirt refers to gossip. Do time means to spend time in prison. Feed your face means eat. Off your game means not your best form or not your best performance. From the get-go means from the beginning or from the start. Here goes means you're starting something out adventurously. Give someone a green light means grant someone permission to do something. How'd you guess indicates that you knew something unexpectedly. Yada 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 is used in place of more words in a conversation as someone continues to talk on and on. Shoot the breeze refers to having informal conversation. Cut someone some slack means to indulge them out of sympathy for their situation. If you snooze, you lose means that if you're not paying attention, you will lose an advantage or opportunity. Step on it means go faster or hurry up. Suck face means to kiss. Sweet is used to express agreement or approval. Talk turkey means to talk about important matters. In tight with someone refers to a close relationship with someone. What's that about is used to show that you think someone's behavior is questionable. What's with someone is used when you're not sure why someone's acting in a specific way. Catch some Z's means to get some sleep. Take someone to the cleaners means succeed in getting a lot of money out of them. Come again means pardon me or I did not catch that. Cut the crap means stop doing what you're doing and act responsibly. Like crazy means a lot, a great deal, or very much. Da blank means used as an imitation of the Chicago pronunciation of various phrases like da bulls, da mare. It's just a term where da is used instead of the word the. What's the deal means what's going on. Dibs is used to express your claim on something. Have the goods on someone means you know the truth or secret about someone. Lay a guilt trip on someone means you've made someone feel guilty. Hasta la vista is Spanish for goodbye and commonly used in American phrasing. Have a good head on your shoulders means that you're sensible and intelligent. Hit it off with someone means that you naturally get along with a person that you've just met. Hit the sack means go to bed. His honor is a term meaning the mayor, which is actually spelt out his honor. Hoof it means to run away or leave. Be into someone or something means to be very interested in someone or something. Kick the bucket refers to dying. Take someone to the curb means to end a relationship with someone. Kitty corner is on the corner diagonally across. Who knew is used to express surprise, often humorously. How lame is that is used to show disapproval of what someone has done or said. Lose it is when someone has lost their self-control, becoming extremely angry or upset. Lose your edge is when you lose your ability to stay ahead or perform well. Put the moves on someone refers to assertively demonstrating your romantic interest in someone. No way simply means no, that's impossible, with surprise. Now that we've gone over quite a few different terms that you may encounter in the United States, let's move on to consider some hand gestures. Some hand gestures are considered vulgar in other parts of the words, but here are some that are used in the US. Okay is expressed by touching your index, next to your thumb, finger to the thumb with your remaining fingers held up in the air. That would be 3 fingers up in the air. This simply means okay in the United States. Thumbs up, where you put your thumb up in the air, is used to express approval by creating a fist and pointing your thumb directly up. It's vulgar to lift the middle finger with the back of the hand facing someone. Peace, or love, is expressed by holding the index and middle finger up and folding the others to the palm. Have a good time is expressed by holding up the index and pinky finger while folding the others in, palm out. I love you is similar to the above sign, but with the thumb out as well. Let's move on and consider educational systems. In India, the educational system includes 4 years of primary school, 6 years of middle school and high school, followed by 2 years of junior college. 3 years of graduation for bachelor's degree are needed, and engineering has 4 years. Education is not free in India. There are private and public schools and colleges. IITs and IIMs are considered the premier institutions in India and worldwide. Children aged 3 and 4 years commonly attend preschool, but it is not required. K through 12 grades in the United States start with children aged 3 and 4 who commonly attend preschool, but again, this is not required. At age 5, American children start K through 12 education. Kindergarten is the years prior to first grade, followed by 12 years of elementary, middle school, and high school education. K through 12 education, those required 13 years of education, is free to all children and paid for by taxes. The U.S. ranks 14th out of 40 countries for K through 12 education. The rankings can be seen at the link provided here through the learning curve at pearson.com. Higher education in the U.S. includes 2 years of community college, 4 years of private or public college, and universities. These are not free and must be paid for. Classes start in August or early September and end in May with breaks in November, December to January, and March to April. U.S. higher education is ranked first globally. For criteria and details, see the ranking here on universitats21.com. Because states are cutting funding to universities, it is becoming increasingly expensive to attend college in the United States. Students commonly hold a part-time job while going to college to help pay for both their education and their living expenses. Let's move on and consider major holidays across India and the United States. In India, being a culturally diverse society with many regional differences across its states, they celebrate various holidays and festivals throughout the year. There are national holidays including Independence Day on August 15th. India achieved its independence from British rule in 1947. National flag hoisting takes place in schools, colleges, government offices, and non-government institutions at this time. Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, October 2nd, is also celebrated. Additional national holidays include Republic Day on January 26th. It honors the date on which the Constitution of India came into force in 1950. Ceremonious parades take place in Delhi, the national capital. Patriotic songs are played on television and radio channels across the nation. Hindu festivals have one or more of religious, mythological, and seasonal significance. States have local festivals depending on prevalent religion and linguistic demographics. Popular religious festivals include the Sikh festival, like Guru Nanak Jayanti and Vaisakhi. Hindu festivals are numerous, including those listed on the screen here. There are also numerous Islamic festivals such as Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, and numerous additional ones. Christian festivals also exist, such as Christmas and days of observance such as Good Friday. Diwali is an additional major festival across India. It's also called the Festival of Lights. This is the most important festival in Hinduism. It signifies the victory of light over darkness, or good over evil, knowledge over ignorance, and hope over despair. It usually comes in mid-October to mid-November. Holi, which is the Hindu Spring Festival, also called Festival of Color, typically comes in February or March. Makar Sankranti, or Pongal, is the harvest festival. It is celebrated all over India with some regional variations. Additional festivals mark the beginning of the new year according to the lunisolar Hindu calendar. These usually come in March to April. In the U.S., major holidays are primarily surrounding Christian religions, such as Christmas, which falls on December 25th. This is a Christian holiday celebrating the birth of Christ. The holiday is now more commercial, where gift buying and giving is the focus. Evergreen trees are covered with lights and decorations, and St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, figures are common icons. The Jewish holiday of Hanukkah and African American holiday of Kwanzaa are also commonly celebrated. These fall around the same time of year in late December. New Year's Eve falls on December 31st and includes festive parties that culminate in ringing in the new year at midnight. Many watch a large ball drop at midnight from Times Square in New York, New York. Easter is another major holiday in the United States, which falls on a Sunday in March or April based on the Christian calendar. This is a major Christian holiday that marks Christ's death and resurrection. For many Americans, it consists of secular traditions. For instance, children dye hard-cooked eggs, there are baskets of rabbit-shaped chocolates and jelly beans, and children engage in an Easter egg hunt. Passover is another major holiday in the United States. This is an 8-day Jewish holiday starting on the first full moon of the vernal equinox. Passover falls before Easter and commemorates the exodus of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt under the leadership of Moses. The highlight of the holiday is the Seder, a meal of symbolic unleavened bread, bitter herbs, and wine or grape juice. There are additional major holidays in the U.S., which include Memorial Day, which is the last Monday in May and commemorates those who have fought and lost their lives in past wars fighting for our country. Labor Day falls on the first Monday in September and celebrates the strength and the contributions of workers in the U.S. economy. Independence Day falls on the 4th of July and celebrates the birth of the United States and the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Outdoor barbecues and an evening firework display mark this occasion. Rosh Hashanah, which is in September or early October, is also celebrated in the United States. This celebrates the Jewish New Year. Yom Kippur is a 10-day celebration from the beginning of Rosh Hashanah. It's the holiest day of the year in the Jewish religion. The Day of Atonement, or forgiveness, that includes fasting, prayer, and repentance is part of this celebration. Thanksgiving is the third Thursday in November and is another significant holiday in the United States. This is the most family-centered of all U.S. holidays where people travel to be with their relatives. It is a secular holiday and commemorates the thanks given by early settlers, pilgrims, for surviving the harsh conditions of their new land. They eat stuffed roasted turkeys and pumpkin pies as part of this traditional meal. Thank you for taking your time to learn about our cultures. On behalf of Dr. Amrut Sadachar, Dr. Sanjuka Pukalandara, and Dr. Anne Marie Fiore, we appreciate your joining us on this presentation.